Well. Good evening. This is Dave Stevens coming to you from the home office here in Bristol, Connecticut. And if you're looking at what I'm wearing, this is my St. Paul Saints jersey from when I actually played for the St. Paul Saints back in 1996. And that's a little foreshadowing of who our guest tonight is. And, we'll talk about who our famous guest is tonight. But first, I've got to bring in, of course, my co-hosts from Minnesota. I got Troy Geary up where this person used to play a little baseball. And I've got my other buddy, Will Stein, popping in from work. He's got his head lit up. He has got lots of ideas for tonight. And of course, we've got a great show tonight. Gentlemen, it's good to see you guys. And I'm really excited for tonight's show.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I saw her play when she was here in Duluth, and really excited for our viewers. A lot of people have been waiting for this show, so here we go.
Waiting for the show. She's waiting in the wings, but she is our star tonight. The legendary pitcher, Ila Borders for the St. Paul Saints and Duluth. And Madison Wolf, Zion Pioneers, a great career. Ila, thanks for being a part of Geary Stein and Stevens tonight.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, this is great.
Well, Ila, it's funny. It's almost like your career suddenly almost had a resurgence as far as, I've seen you recently at the Twins and doing a lot of cool stuff. What is it? Is it nostalgia for you, or how has it been for you being kind of on this tour of love?
It's been awesome to reconnect with a bunch of people. I think I kind of went away maybe from the media because I'm a captain paramedic, I'm a firefighter, so I've been in that world, but I never really got out of baseball. I've been working for USA Baseball. I've been working for Major League Baseball as a coach. I mostly did private lessons on the side. What's really important to me is getting to know the individual, and I'm less of a spotlight person. I really love people, and I like getting deep with people and seeing them grow. And I feel like I can do that more when I work one-on-one with people. So even though it kind of seems like I'm getting back out there in baseball, I've kind of been out there ever since I've been out of it, just not in the spotlight so much.
And when you were in the spotlight, I mean that was a lot of pressure. I mean, I remember, this is a chance for me to go. Oh yeah, I remember. I played for the St. Paul Saints, and people thought I was some sort of gimmick as this legless guy coming in, playing with Darryl Strawberry and Jack Morris back in the day. But that paled into comparison of what you went through when the microscope was there. Marty Scott brought you in, Mike Veck. What was that like? Just the whole circus, and then you just trying to go out there and be a pitcher.
Yeah, just the biggest thing to me is I wanted to be taken seriously and I wanted to show that I earned it. Because I'm like, people can say all they want, but when it's said and done, or 10 years or 20 years from that particular time, I want to know that I earned it. I didn't want to be given it. I just wanted an opportunity. And I was looking for that person that would give me that opportunity. And so I put my feelers out there. I did really well as MVP of my high school team. Um, I played 4 years. I pitched over 100 innings in college. I was pretty successful. I was throwing the ball, 83. I had a good curveball, a good changeup, and I'm like, just give me an opportunity. And so I met up with Mike Veck, and he's like, hey, I have a daughter. I just want to give you an opportunity. Now you're going to have to go out there and show that you can compete and help our team win. You're going to have to prove to Marty Scott. But he goes, this is your chance. And that's all I was looking for. It's if I didn't go out there and win and help my team, I didn't want it. But the nice thing about Mike Veck is he already had his entire year sold out. So I was like, well, at least somebody cannot say I came in there to sell seats because he already sold them out. So he's just pretty much given me an opportunity to get a chance to make a team, which I was able to, which I'm very grateful for that opportunity by Mike Veck.
When did you first fall in love with the game of baseball?
Oh, I wish I had a picture of this. I have to get it. Since I can remember, like my mom would tell me at 2 years old, kids would have I don't know, dolls or something in their hand or blankets. And I would just carry this little red bat. I had a bat and a ball, and I'd carry it around the house, and I was 2 years old. And, I'd constantly hit it with my dad and the ball all around the house. It drove my mother nuts, but she remembers that. And I just remember, it was a pretty significant time when I was 10 years old and went to that baseball field and saw Dusty Baker hit one out of the park, and having that moment with my dad saying, "Hey, Dad, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm serious. I'm 10 years old, but I want to be the first woman to play Major League Baseball." And it was deep within my heart, and it never stopped until I was 25 and reached my point.
So that's definitely a very interesting career that you've taken. My brother's a firefighter too, by the way, as a bonus, but we'll get another story for another day. But anywho, when you first came into the scene, I can only imagine how difficult it was to be in a professional baseball environment among the boys. Talk to us about that experience and how that helped you as you grew your career down the road.
I will tell you this. I think it's really important on the development of a baseball player. I was extremely lucky in the sense of I played Little League. So at 10 years old, I was playing Little League, and I was the only girl playing baseball. So there's a lot of scrutiny. Parents were yelling at my parents. We were one game shy of going to Williamsport for the Little League World Series. We did really well. I was on Rick Lozano, struck out 18 out of 18 hitters. So there was a lot of pressure, and still I was the only girl playing baseball at that time. But it's weird how it's like gradual. I started at Little League at 10, 11, and 12, and that built up. And then I played high school, and my high school team, my local one, was like, absolutely, you're not coming here. We don't want a girl. So I went to a private school because they said, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to play. And that's all I was looking for in my entire life, are opportunities, because I knew I could beat and compete and win. Is just give you that opportunity. And so Whittier Christian High School played 4 years with them, same thing again. It upped a little bit. Now it's the whole county, LA County, Orange County, California, more media. The National Enquirer was out there. So now it's up here. And then I go to college, and I play 4 years of college in that first year. Holy smokes, 72 interviews in one day. Jay Leno, Good Morning America, Sports Illustrated for Kids. I mean, you name it. I was on it. And so that put me up to this level. And so I am just super grateful that I had that progression of dealing with media and dealing with scrutiny and trying to learn how to act and behave and be and deal with pressure, and then getting to pro ball. That's a whole nother level. But I believe I was successful with the media and doing certain things because of that progression and learning at a very young age and working up. But still, you're still human. And when you're told that if you go out there and fail, you're letting down the entire women race, and that nobody's going to follow you, there's not going to be any female baseball player to follow if you fail, that weighed heavily on me.
And it had to, because again, everybody, it's almost like, and this isn't sexist, but the men want you to fail because they think a woman shouldn't be playing baseball with men. But when you had those successes, when you're striking out people, then it builds up worse, because then they start really trying to get under your skin. And I wonder what was that like in the stands when you get the drunk guys saying the horrible things about your sexuality, about where you came from, all those kind of things. I mean, it should have been a great positive story, but I know you carried a lot of burden from what you went through, especially in these small towns like Duluth and Madison and those kind of places where the people maybe, had never seen anything like this.
Yeah, let me tell you a story that really changed my outlook. And this is what kind of helped me. And that is, I talk about this in my book, where I'm going to Fargo. I'm pitching against a #1 team. Doug Simnick is saying horrible stuff about me. They're trying to make a mockery of me. I show up, and they aren't doing that. They're putting their number one pitcher who played in Major League Baseball against me. They're putting their top rated team against me. I get off the bus and people are screaming at me, go back to the kitchen. You don't belong here. We don't want you. Beer being thrown at me. And then my teammates kind of go around me and shuffle me in to get to the ball field because I'm starting this game. And then 60 Minutes is there and they're filming everything. And this lady, I'll never forget, I talk about her, she has this big red hat on and she's just screaming at me, her face and everything like that. And she goes on and screams. And then I go and pitch. I pitch 6 scoreless innings. And I see Doug Simnick, he changed. And this lady that was screaming at me and all these fans that hated me, they completely changed. And they came up to me after the game and they're like, wow, women can actually do it. You did it. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. Then I was like, you know what? You're born for this. Like, this is what ultimately you want to do. Yes, you love the game. I love it so much. I play every single day, even at my age. But at that point in time, I felt like I was made to go out there and say, hey, I can do this. And to change minds to show that women can do anything they want.
And you did it. And that's why we're here tonight on the Geary Stein and Stevens show. We're going to take a little break. Going to debut a commercial tonight for Manscaped. So stick with us. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is Dave Stevens, Will Stein, Troy Geary, and the legendary Ila Borders on Geary Stein and Stevens. Stay with us. Stay tuned. We got a lot still coming ahead. Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens for Manscaped at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Why am I here? Well, if you're in search of the perfect balls, you don't need to come to the Hall of Fame to find them. In fact, you can have those perfect balls by using Manscaped products.
And it doesn't take a Hall of Fame genius to put 2 and 2 together to get those perfect balls.
And right now, Manscaped is offering the Performance Package 4.0. It's arrived and oh man, it's a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear, nose, and hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all the goodies.
And the great thing about Manscaped is they don't care about size. They can handle any job.
So right now, if you'd like to save on Manscaped products, go to manscaped.com, type in the code GSSShow, and you will save 20% on Manscaped products because Manscaped really works, and of course, you want your balls to feel as light as air. And of course, if you want 20% off the world's softest, comfiest, best fitting men's clothes, they make me dance. Fresh Clean Threads has your back, your front, your sides, everything from polos to tees to tanks, Henleys, pullovers, and hoodies. You get designer quality basics without paying ridiculous prices. And everybody feels great, looks good. Go to freshcleanthreads.com, put in GSS Show code for 20% off your order. Your perfect fit awaits. And of course, that perfect fit is the jersey that I have on tonight for, my little bit of time in the minor leagues. And of course, we are joined with Ila Borders, who had her time in the minor leagues. A great career, a 2-4 record. He had 36 strikeouts, over 100 innings pitched. And again, doing something that my first question is, you did so much for the game for women, yet we have not progressed some 20 some odd years later. So my question is, why aren't there more women? They're getting coaching opportunities, but will we ever see another female player, getting up to that minor league level?
I think it's possible. I know that there's one person playing right now, but I'm talking like being successful. And I really think Major League Baseball and USA Baseball, they're really trying to do things for women in baseball and to get more women in baseball. When I was playing college, Julie Croteau, I believe, she played first base for a little bit, and then I played. Now, goodness gracious, I don't have the correct number, but I know that there are more women playing baseball, college baseball. And then for that, I really believe in development. You think of guys playing professional baseball, they've had all this development. They haven't gone and just got out of college softball and played Division I college softball, and then they go play professional baseball. That's what a lot of the women right now that are trying to play professional baseball are doing. And I learned I would not be successful in pro ball if I didn't go through those 4 years playing against Division I, Division II, NCAA, NAIA baseball players. And so I just think it needs to develop. I think they're really trying to do that. They have a women's national team now to kind of hone in on those skills. But to go from softball to baseball to softball to baseball, it's just too difficult. So the more that we can provide opportunities, the better. My goal is just, the more women that play, the more good coaching that they get. That's another thing, getting really good coaching. I think you're going to see more women eventually playing baseball and getting to that next level.
How did you decide ultimately to stick to pitching instead of, because for those that don't know, I used to hit also.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of a rough story. I threw left-handed and I batted right. And so I should have thought about that way earlier. But I got up, I hit, let me stop and go back. In college, I was picked up as a pitcher and a hitter. So I was going to play the outfield or I was going to play first base. But I got up 11 times against like the junior colleges and some other colleges. And I got hit 11 times. And so I would get up to the plate and, take an 88 or a 90 mile an hour fastball on my left side or something and then try to go pitch. And it just did not feel good. So finally they're just like, hey, why don't you just stick to pitching? Because every time you get up there, they hit you. It was almost a running joke, Hey, we need a base runner. Put Ila up. She'll get hit, and then she'll be at first, and then we can get a runner. So that's why ultimately I stopped hitting, as I would just get nailed every single time.
Success on your professional baseball career. Talk to us about when you first signed that professional contract with the Saints and how it made you feel.
Oh, geez. Let me see if I can try to describe that. I knew I was right on the bubble. It was me and this other guy. And I was in the outfield. There's this pitcher. I'm like laying on the outfield, just praying like, God, please, just give me an opportunity. Because it wasn't like, hey, Ila, we're going to take you no matter what, and you're going to go play for a year. It was, you have to earn a spot out of these 10 pitchers. And then after that, you have to keep that spot. I mean, I'd show up every day looking for a pink slip and seeing if I was sent home. And you had to produce, otherwise you're gone. And I didn't want it any other way, but it was very, lots of pressure. But when I found out that I made that team, I think that was the first time in my life where I experienced so much joy, I didn't know what to do with it. I was jumping up and down. I went to my hotel and I'm like, hey, you've got to be cool. You got to show everybody you're cool. And then I went back to the hotel. I was jumping up and down on my bed, called my parents. I told them that I made the team. And then I just went out by the railroad tracks and just said, thank you, God, and started crying. It's like my whole dream, everything that you've ever worked for in your life came true at that moment. And just overwhelming feeling.
Ila, in your book, you talked about it, and you've talked about it other times. What you went through towards the tail end of your professional career, a couple personal losses in your life, and again, athletes are not supposed to talk about the mental aspect and the breakdowns and the things that can happen, and it really did set you back. But you've championed it. You've turned your career around to really make an impact now as a firefighter and the successes that you've had. But that was the darkest time. I think you even mentioned possibly suicide and things like that. I mean, take us through that mental part of losing those people, kind of losing your arm at a point where you realized I can't get people out, and the what you would strive for to be so good, you didn't want to just be mediocre. So what was that like to deal with, and how did you make that comeback mentally?
So it's two separate things with that. When I talk about this, I go and talk about this all the time now, and I talk about these 5 principles. I call it choosing success. And I did 4 out of the 5 extremely well, dialed in. But one of them that I talk about, I did not do well. And that is eliminating some toxic influences or really being in tune with your environment. So what I mean by that is I didn't didn't want to tell everybody that was going on. I didn't build a really good team around me of supporters and people that knew, that could kind of support me and build me up. I was hiding that I was a gay athlete, which I had a fake boyfriend. If anybody found out, my dream would be pulled away in a heartbeat. So I was constantly worried about being exposed. There was bad stuff that was going on, and I couldn't tell anybody. I would just journal it. And all of that started to really get to me because I had no outlet. I couldn't talk to anybody. And so I go around now talking to athletes and talking to firefighters, like, it's really important to have mentors. It's really important to talk. It's really important to have 3 or 4 friends, if you can, or 2 to 3 good people that support you and are around you and uplift you. And so I still had a pretty good arm. I felt great. What broke down was the mental aspect. I was afraid of being exposed, and I was hiding who I was, and I wasn't talking to anybody about what was going on with me inside. And so I got out of the sport. Mike Veck said, "Hey, I see these guys listen to you. Like, can you please be a pitching coach?" I was already working with the professional players out there with catching them and talking about their spin, their mechanics. I mean, being 5'9", 150, I've got to use everything against somebody that's 6'2", 180. So we work on mechanics and do all that. But I ended up getting out for mental health reasons and just saying, okay, you need to go, you need to come out, you need to be authentic, you need to be real with people, and you need to live your life and be out. And so I did. I got out of baseball. I got out. I had turned down the opportunity to be a pitching coach. I turned down ESPN. I turned down anything that would be in the media because this was 2001, and I needed to work on being more authentic. But I was still coaching. I was still developing professional baseball players and getting into the firefighting world. And then during that time, I lost my first wife to a drunk driver. That's why I got into being a paramedic and a firefighter. She was killed by a drunk driver. And that's when it's my first love, my first just everything. And it was completely quiet. Nobody knew about it except for my family. And when she passed, I lost it. So I talk to people now that get to that dark space that are contemplating suicide, that have just lost everything that they've given everything, that their future, their love, everything, and how I work through that. And everybody has a different way. It's a long story, so I won't talk about it too much, but I will tell you this, it takes time. It takes time, and it takes a lot of patience, and it takes surrounding yourself with good people. And so I really learned my lesson about developing 3 to 4 people around you, whether it be your family, your friends, or whoever, that support you and help you through those tough times in life. I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry about that.
There we go.
Ila, we can't live in the past, but I was wondering if your career started now and it's more acceptable, which it should be. Do you think there would be less pressure? Do you think you would have had a different career knowing that, you'd have more people supporting you because it's okay to be normal now?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I think about it. It's so freeing. There was so much pressure just to go out there and be who I am. It's crazy there's only certain people that can understand there, but if you're hiding who you are, you're constantly worried about being exposed and then letting the whole world down. It's a huge burden on top of playing baseball. But I don't want to say I chose to play baseball. I wanted that. I knew that was my purpose in life, was to play. I was given a gift, and I'm super grateful for that gift. And it was to go out there and compete and play. And like I said, even though I haven't really been in the spotlight, I still have been very involved with baseball, just not so much in the media in the spotlight way as maybe I've been in the last 5 years. My book came out in 2017, and ever since then, I've kind of been more out into the media.
How much did the late Mike Cuellar, for those that don't know, was a 1969 Cy Young Award winner in the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Famer, and your pitching coach at Duluth, help you with throwing your screwball?
I developed my screwball beforehand. He was actually a really huge fan of it. We just really enjoyed, I would throw it and then he would throw his, and they kind of moved the same. I held it differently than he did, but you talk about, man, there's so many things that I think about that I'm like, I am the luckiest person alive. Like, I got to play catch with Mike Cuellar, who's my pitching coach, and we were throwing screwballs to each other, and he was saying, wow, that is a fantastic pitch. And then Dirty Al Gallagher saying, you have everything that it takes to make it in the big leagues. You just need an opportunity. Dwight Smith, my center fielder, saying the same thing. Like, I think about when I was playing pro ball and the highlights or the people that I played with and the relationships that I built and the relationships I still have. And that means so much to me. Some guys that I play with now, they're like, hey, we have a daughter, and I was telling them that I played with you, and now they think I'm cool, So I just learned so much on the field by playing with people like Mike Cuellar, Jackie, George Mitterwall. Dirty Al, I probably learned the most from. Barry Moss, how to analyze hitters and look at hitters. Marty Scott, bless his heart, he just passed. And he was a tough cookie to break, but he's the one that ultimately said, yeah, you can be on my team. So when I look back at things, I think about all the wonderful opportunities that I had to learn from the best of the best.
Yeah, and it's so tragic because Marty was the guy that let me start and play second base and lead off, and went against the grade. So it's tough to see people that we've been a part of to go tragically. But hey, on a bright note, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some Baseball Hall of Fame stuff and continue to wrap things up. Put a nice little bow on our St. Paul Saints reunion show tonight with Troy, Will, Dave, and the legendary Ila Borders. So please stay with us.
This is Pete Davidson from Manscaped. Surprise your girlfriend. Sorry. Let's show them how hairless we could be, boys. Presentation matters. Don't make me get specific, because I will. Shave your dick. Shave it, baby.
I got a hot date.
I've been using this guy long enough to where I think it's time we went into business together. Meet the new face, among other parts, of Manscaped.
Fresh Clean Tees was a shirt company. Over the years, you've asked us for more. We've listened. And now we're entering a new era with a new name. It's time for us to officially be the brand you've helped us grow into. We believe in our basics, from the first thread to the final stitch. We always have, we always will. The only thing that's truly changing is our sense of adventure. We're expanding our lineup by developing new, exciting products that largely come from customer requests. Customers like you are a huge part of who we are and how we got here. So we're still going to make fresh tees, but we're also going to make a lot of new threads inspired by you. In short, we just want to make clothes that you want to wear. So we're an apparel brand now. Let us reintroduce ourselves. We are Fresh, Clean Threads.
That's a special thanks to all of our sponsors out there, and of course our fans out there that are listening and watching all over on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all of our podcasts, Spotify, Apple. Man, you guys have been supporting this little show, and we've been getting some amazing guests, and we're going to continue to talk to Ila Borders as long as we'll talk. Troy, you got a question?
Yeah, 1997, the Duluth Spirit Dukes won the league championship. What do you remember most about that season?
I remember a bunch of misfits coming together. If I had to put it just super fast and put it together, that would be it. You had Dominican people, you had people from the Midwest, you had myself, you had David Glick and these other people from California with tons of tattoos, and tattoos is not the big thing at that time. A guy that was from Cuba that couldn't speak English, and Alan Haley. We had so many people that if you were to look at it on paper, you would just be like, oh gosh, you don't want to go there. All these people, how do we make them mesh? And for some reason, like I think about all the time when I think about building my team, how do you do it? And we all got around of, we were all the people that were kind of let go. And so we're like, we are all going to come together, and our main goal, no matter what, was to win a championship. It wasn't individual stuff. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going out here for this, or I'm going out there for this. We really had a makeup of, if you're struggling, I'll come in and I'll pick it up. And it was so unbelievably, I haven't had that feeling before of that, such a sense of team. Like it was, this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to accomplish, and we will do it. And we did. And I think you saw that at the end with the celebration. We all celebrated. Everybody played a part. And that's one of the highlights of my career, because of just seeing everybody come together.
And do you remember your host family, and do you still talk to them?
Oh, you bet. I was going to say, you betcha. Of course. I just got back from Minnesota, and if it wasn't for the winter and a job, I would live there. I love the people. Everybody's so kind, so friendly. It's green. There's water. My host family, Darlene and Deb, I can go on and on about those two. They sacrificed so much for me to stay at their place, which was right next door to the stadium. I mean, those long bus trips, I would come home and I would just be able to walk, right across into their house. And there's so much pressure. There's so much stuff going on. And they would listen to me. And what was the most important thing to me is whatever I told them, it didn't get to everybody else. And that was huge. I trusted them. And, I was, gosh darn, 22 to 25. And I still remember that. That was the most important thing to me, is I was able to talk to them, and they kept everything from the media. And I trusted them, and they gave me a place to stay.
So
It's weird how that kind of affects you, because now I'm in the nonprofit industry, or I try to help people. And it really stems from people like Mike Veck, Darlene and Deb. Like, those people had such a profound impact on me that it's like, I want to pass that on for all those people that helped me when I was younger.
So you went from a champion, and now your name is forever remembered in the Baseball Hall of Fame. What does that legacy mean to you, and how can you use that legacy to inspire other people who want to be involved in baseball more?
I hope that they see that taking a risk and taking a chance, in order to be successful in life, you have to do that. And that it's okay to have fear, but to still go through it and have courage, and to know you're not alone. There are people out there that have done stuff and support you. And if you reach out to us, we'll help you along the way. When I was going through my time, I was looking at Jackie Robinson and reading every book possible, because I was like, this hasn't happened before female wise. So how did he go through death threats? How did he go through all these certain things? And I tried to do what he did. And so it's like, what I'm trying to do now is, if there's people playing pro ball, or they want to get into it, it's like, talk to me. I'll help you. I'll do whatever is possible. And just know that, gosh, you've got to risk it. I talk to people, without a risk, you are not going to be successful. And you just have to take that and go for it every single time. But to answer your question about Cooperstown, I don't know. I would have to say the championship team in that's pretty special. It's hard to even describe. I have some people that work at Cooperstown, and an honor to me is like an understatement. I think to just walk in there, I've been there once, I got chills, and I was overcome with so much just feeling of thankfulness and gratefulness that they did that. And all I can say is, what an honor. I'm super grateful.
I go there a lot because I'm here in Connecticut, and I was putting on a baseball camp for disabled kids, and I'm like, I gotta go and shoot Ila's video of the thing, and snuck in and shot a Manscaped commercial. But it's always great to go in and see, the history of women's baseball. But you know, you shouldn't have death threats playing baseball. I mean, what is that like? Did they take them serious? And I mean, what was your mindset going out there, coming to the locker room, coming to the ballpark, leaving the ballpark, going out to dinner? I mean, that's got to be scary.
Yeah, it was scary when I showed up to, gosh, it was a hotel, and there were two men in my room when I opened up the door. That's when I was like, okay, maybe I should take these death threats a little bit more seriously, you know. I would read them and look at that, and it'd affect me, but I'm like, who's going to do that? But then I would, get done with the game, go to my hotel room, and then there were these two guys in my hotel room, and then there were more people that were following me to where when we got to the hotel room, the guys would open it up and check everything out first before I would actually go in. And so then I was like, okay, I really need to start watching myself a little bit. And we don't have security in minor league ball, and I didn't want to make a big deal. It's that whole thing again, like, I just want to go out there and play. I want to show that I'm not trying to make a big deal. I don't care about the media. I just want to be a really good teammate. I want to win. I'm super competitive. I'm still competitive. And that's my main thing. I want to win. I want to contribute, and I want to be a good teammate. And I think at first the guys were like, oh, what is she doing? Why does she have an agenda? And then as soon as I started playing with them, they're like, oh, no, she's cool. This is Ila. She just wants to play. And then I just had to get over that hurdle at first. And then I was fine. And then they're like, wow, she's going through a lot. How can we help her? And my teammates were really great. Like I said, I'm pretty good friends with most of them. But they really helped. They helped me out a lot.
So, what did it mean to have the fans in Duluth, Madison, and St. Paul? What did that how did those fan relationships help you overcome some of those death threats? And what was that fan overall experience like playing in front of those people every night?
You got to see a new place. Well, I remember the Duluth Superior Dukes, like the bus. This is going to sound really funny, but I was so used to people booing for me that when people were cheering, it took me some time to really work through that. I don't know how to explain that to people. They're like, how? Wouldn't you like people cheering for you? But if you're not used to it, it's something that's completely different. And so it took me a while to get used to it. And then, like I said, it's affected me so much that every time I try to go back there once a year and to go back to the Duluth fans somehow, some way to say thank you. That's how much I'm so appreciative of the experience in St. Paul and Duluth. So I try to see Darlene and Deb. I try to see the people that took care of me there. I try to go see a Huskies game. I go see a Saints game or a Twins game. And the reason being are the people there, the fans, and how I was. And that's why I live my life the way that I do now. I try to give back as much as I can. And it's literally because of all those people affecting me when I was at such a impressionable young age.
Yeah, let's go back to July 24th, 1998, your first minor league win. What do you remember most about that day, or was it just so much of a whirlwind you don't really remember a lot?
Honest to goodness, that's what I write in my book about playing against Fargo. When I got my win against Sioux Falls, I don't remember a thing. I remember going scoreless innings, or what? No, that was at another point. I don't know. It's weird how it's an absolute blur that first time around. All I do remember is that it's hard to describe, but I'm a very competitive person. You see me on the mad. People are like, why are you mad? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, I'm ready to go. And I don't think people are used to seeing a female like that. I would always get, oh, smile. And I'm like, I'm here to compete. Like, I want to win. Like, get out of my face. And I don't think people are used to seeing a female. And so a lot of it was, I just know I was super focused. I was like, get out of my way. I want to get a win and then move on.
Isla, you mentioned the Jackie Robinson. It's like I'm like the legless Jackie Robinson. There's never been a legless player before. You're the first and only female pitcher that has had the success in the minor leagues. What is going to be your legacy? I say my legacy. So, like, what do you want people to remember about what you did, what you wore on your back more than just a jersey, and what you went
Mhm.
through?
I would say that nothing was handed to me. Um, what I'm most proud about is I had to earn everything. Um, if I didn't compete and if I wasn't doing well, I was gone. And that means a lot to me because sometimes I don't see that right now. And I think it should be like that for everybody. And so that's what I pride myself in is going out there and competing and winning and doing well and helping my team win. Um, and then going out there and taking a risk. I see so many people, whether it's in baseball, fire, any type of sport, anything in life, people are so afraid to fail that they never try it. And, or they might just go and try it without putting the work in. And so um, I would say take a look at me, go out there and do something. If you absolutely love it, no matter the risk, do it. Give it your all, prepare for it, and then yeah, leave it better for the next person coming behind you. And that's what I tried to do. And that's what I still try to continue to do the rest of my life is always, no matter where I go in life, as I try to leave it better for the next person.
Isla, as we wrap up and let you go, what would you tell to those little girls, the little leaguers, the ones that want to be the next Jen Welter in football or the Venus Williams in tennis or the Ila Border in baseball? What advice would you give to young girls that really want to excel in whatever sport or whatever thing in life that they want to do?
Uh, I'd say be bold. It's pretty good. I'm seeing that more and more, you know, with boys when I see them when they're brought up, they're told to take chances and be risk takers and, go off on that bike. And if you get a bump, no worries. And then I see girls where it's like, don't do that. Don't do certain things. Be careful. You could get hurt. And my dad didn't raise me like that. He raised me to be bold, take chances, be aggressive. You can be aggressive and you can still be a kind, loving person. So I'd say be bold, go after it. Don't care so much what people think. But I'm in my 40s now. When I was in my 20s, that was a little different, so I understand. And like I said, I talk about these 5 things, and I try to go and talk about these 5 principles to as many people as I can, and then I give scenarios. And that is, 1, find your purpose, find your why in life. Mine at that time was to be the first woman to play men's integrated professional baseball and make a path. Controlling your thoughts and your mindset. Could talk for days about that, how I did that. Eliminating toxic influences, really being careful who's in your head, who's in your face, who's your inner circle. Social media, who are you letting into this? And then growth mindset, I learned that at a very young age. At 14, I was going against 18-year-olds. I was taught to take risks and to fail and get better, and I learned that young. So trying to teach young kids that. And then the last one is sustained discipline. You can have short-term discipline, but how do you really teach kids to have sustained discipline? And that's what I see with other professional athletes that I'm friends with, or Olympic athletes that I'm friends with. They take it up one more notch. That's normal. And there's certain ways that you can do that when you're younger to when you're an adult to develop that. And so that's what I go around and talk about now, as to how to hone in on those 5 things. And guarantee you, if you do that, you're going to get there.
So you were good at 2 things, striking people out and saving lives. What do you feel
Yeah.
is more, what do you enjoy more, striking somebody out or saving a life? And talk to us about both of those aspects and what it means to you.
I would say I just love people. What I've learned throughout life is I don't care about possessions. I don't care about money. all that's going to go. I really don't care about any of that. The number one thing that I care about are people and my relationships in life. That's number one. And so I just try to make every person that I meet feel special and show them that I care. And I try to inspire them and I try to help them in every way that I can. And I can only help them in certain ways, maybe with baseball and teaching them baseball and inspiring them to do something that's possibly different and going against the grain. Or I can be there for them and help them with the gifts that I was given for being a firefighter and a paramedic. But my main goal in life is to be a blessing that as far as anybody that comes into contact with me. That's my main goal. That's all I care about. Everything else, that's it.
And you've done a great job. And Ila, we could go on all night, but then everybody would turn us off and not watch next or listen next time. So, but it's been great having you. You truly are a pioneer and inspiration. How's the arm, by the way? Can you go out? Could you throw an inning or two?
Yeah, through today, I feel great. Probably throwing 75, but and it takes me a little bit more time to recover. But yeah, baseball players, we go out there all the time and play catch. Love it.
Well,
it's in my blood. It always has been. I still go out there and play all the time.
Well, hopefully in our lifetime, there's a movie and all kinds of cool stuff that you get to enjoy. You deserve all the accolades. So, Ila Borders, thank you for joining us. A great guest, and it was a great show, guys. It's great having a superstar like Ila on, and of course, you know, we have superstar sponsors that help us, like, Pro Stance and FanDuel and Manscaped and Coca-Cola and all those good people out there. And again, for those of you that want to save money, go to the manscaped.com, go to freshcleanthreads.com, put in the code GSS Show for all of a 20% off discount, free shipping, all that good stuff. So that's a wrap for tonight. I'm Dave Stevens with Troy and Will and Ila Borders. We are going to say good night and continue to follow us on all social media platforms and wherever you download any kind of thing. So guys, take a big wave as we head out into the sunset. We love you all. Thank you guys for being a part of Geary, Stein and Stevens.